Alright, hello and welcome back again. Today it is Scenario 4 in my solo deadly playthrough. This is Crypt of the Damned, and this time it is going to be the Mindtheif. So this is not my first attempt. I did 3 attempts with just the base amount of money that a level 8 Mindtheif would start with. So I had 135 gold, and it just gave me slightly fewer items than I have right here. I didn't have any boots, I didn't have any head slot, and I just had a minor healing potion. And I got pretty close a couple times, and so I kind of have some strategies that I've developed. But but mostly through some bad luck, I just wasn't really able to finish. So I went and I got about 100 extra gold from just farming real quick, so that I could get a head slot, get some boots, upgrade my potion, and then I also enhanced wound on one of my cards. So this is a really interesting Mindtheif build. I knew I was going to have to be taking some damage since I'm solo, I'm all by myself, and I'm a melee character. And so I decided to go with double shields in my hand slots for my items, and I actually really like it. It adds a lot of survivability for me, and then I have moon earring and a star earring so that I can get those shields back if I need them. And then the spiky shield also gives me a retaliate 2, so anytime I have something right next to me, I can just get an extra 2 damage on it. This very first room is the reason I decided to pick the Mindtheif for this scenario. There are 2 traps, and the Mindtheif just has a lot of tools that lets him push things into traps. So I went and I pushed that archer on turn 1 with Fearsome Blade, and then the only reason I took Frozen Mind on my level 5, I think, level up, was just to walk that skeleton into that trap right there. Frozen Mind, I do actually kind of like the card. The augment on it is pretty useless. You get 2 Retaliate. I considered using it because I could get myself 6 Retaliate, and then if the skeletons ever pulled their 74 speed, target 1 with all attacks, then they would basically just one-shot themselves to my Retaliate. But that's too specific strategy. I can't really make a strategy that relies on them pulling 1 card. So I killed the archer really quickly. I walked this white skeleton into the trap, and then it's basically all about just standing still and using double attacks with bottoms and tops to get rid of these guys. Strengthened from my brain leech, so that's an easy kill. So this first room went very well. Traps dealt 18 damage for me, and I'm able to get a long rest in before this second room. I do lose brain leech here. The strengthen on it isn't that good. I probably should have lost Frozen Heart, maybe. But it is also really good to keep a really low speed card. That's another reason I take Vicious Blood. I actually love the Vicious Blood card. Move to attack 4 on the bottom is just really nice, and then having that 83 speed card, it's kind of hard to find slow cards on Mindtheif you really want to use. So the second room is where things get really difficult. These cultists, if they summon skeletons, it will just wreck your day. 2 of my 3 attempts before this basically just died to them summoning skeletons 2 turns in a row. So I decided to just try to burst this first guy. On my last attempt, I was able to kill him in just 1 shot, but this time he survived with 1 health. So I'm going to save my Retaliate shield so that I can use that Retaliate to kill him. But since I have these shields, I mean, ooh, at disadvantage he gets +1 in a crit. That's rough. But with my shields, I have 4 health instead of 1, so not terrible. Now this is a really tough point for me because I cannot allow this cultist to summon, and I can't let them get any momentum on me. So I really need to get rid of this room quickly, and this is definitely one of the hardest parts of this scenario is this second room. It's so long and summoning is just so bad, and so I went ahead for the Cranium Overload for just the 1-shot insta-kill. 15 damage from a lost card is pretty decent, especially given that I also got to hit these guys and deal a lot to them. Now when I played this turn, I was planning on using Dark Frenzy plus my boots to run back into that first room so that neither of these archers would hit me since I was low. But given how much damage I got with the Cranium Overload and the fact that I had a muddle, I was relatively confident that I would be able to survive, and I figured I could go ahead and get my shields back and just retaliate on one of them, and I didn't need to use my invisibility cloak yet. Once again, I would really, really like to get this second room done on my second rest cycle. That way I can get a third long rest in before I go into the final room. With all these reusable items like my double shields and my boots, I really want to get as many long rests as possible. Also, I am taking a lot of damage in this scenario, a lot more than I did on my Spellweaver run, where I was basically able to be invisible the whole time. And then the last little bit of my gold, I spent 45 gold to upgrade to enhance Frigid Apparition. I could just, you know, farm 400 gold and throw crazy enhancements on all of my cards and make this challenge really, really easy. So I'm trying to limit how much gold I spend. And I got a miss there. Relatively unlucky miss. I don't think I draw my crit in this whole scenario, but I do draw my my stun modifier a lot, so that makes up for it. So I was able to kill that. Oh, never mind. I do draw my crit on a turn where it definitely didn't matter though, because I was going to be hitting him again for 3 and then again for 3. So, oh, I way overkilled that guy. So, now it is time for this room in the top left. This room can be very difficult. Gotta count my cards. Whenever you have an odd number of cards, you can go ahead and do your rest without dropping the Mind's Weakness down. But if you have an even number, if you discard the Mind's Weakness, that will give you an odd number. And then the odd number is the number of cards you want, so that you get an extra turn. So I'm coming into this room, and there is another cultist in here. So priority number 1 is killing him. And if you know your speed cards, then you know that 63 is that cultist summon card. So I know that he's summoning here. Luckily, I did get my stun card, but it also doesn't matter because I was planning to kill him on the turn I open the door, which I am able to do thanks to that 9 damage trap. Now, there's a little bit to consider here. Do I want to go invisible or just take the damage from these guys? And I decided to go invisible. Unfortunately, it's going to be pretty hard for me to retaliate on these guys. The only real way is if they draw their card that pulls me in, because otherwise they will always be walking away from me or pushing me away. So, get a little bit of damage with my Vicious Blood. There's another miss, my second miss. But I get to get my wound out, and I get a rolling +1, so some damage, a little bit of damage. On this challenge, I found that it's really important every time before I hit the end turn button to just look and make sure I at least have a good possible next turn planned out. That way I can still use any items that I might need to. But I have my Into the Night saved for my last turn, which is really, really nice because now I can go invisible right before I long rest. -1 here means I won't get any damage, unfortunately, but I am invisible, and so I can long rest. Just have to count if I'm at an even or odd number of cards, and I bring the Mind's Weakness down. I can go ahead and lose Into the Night here. This is why I did this top left room before the top right room, because going invisible will be really useful in this room, but I won't need it in the other. So here they did draw their pulling card. So this time when I get attacked, I will actually be able to use my Retaliate shield. But Mind's Weakness gets the stun, which is both good and bad. I was going to be able to block 3 of the damage and retaliate for 2, so I probably would have preferred him not to be stunned. Because even if he crit me, I'm not sure what they were attacking for, but it's probably 4 or 5. So even with a crit, I would have survived with my shields and gotten some retaliate damage, but that's not the end of the world. So with just this Wind Demon left, there's a Wind Demon and an Earth Demon, an Elite Earth Demon, in the other room, who can be a gigantic pain. Now here I muddled this guy, which was a bit lucky of a pull, because it means that he would not step back from me. He would just stay melee, which means I would be able to get my Retaliate off, but then I also drew my Disarm card, since I was attacking so many times. So, didn't end up working for me, but he basically dealt no damage, and I still have my shields up. And he has 1 health. He's wounded, so he will not be able to get rid of that. I can start heading over towards that Earth Demon. I'm actually really shocked at how easy this scenario was. I thought it was going to be very difficult because I always struggle with this scenario when I do deadly playthroughs from the beginning of the game, or on speedruns especially. This level was very difficult, both in brutal and on easy. So I thought this level was going to give me a bunch of problems, and I thought I was going to have to farm some gold for some enhancements. But in the end, you can see that the Mindtheif, he's just put in a ton of work, done a ridiculous amount of damage. I don't think I even needed this helmet. You know, I figured I might as well just pick the cards that I want right now so that I don't lose something bad to a short rest. But I was really, really impressed with how much damage my melee off-tank Mindtheif build did. I was very, very happy with it, and I wouldn't mind trying it again in a more regular playthrough. I guess I could have actually used Dark Frenzy here and dealt 8 damage with it. Nah, this is better. I absolutely love getting to be able to use attacks with the top and the bottom, and then the Mindthief's attack modifier deck is actually really, really solid. Getting muddles is always useful, and then those disarms and immobilizes and the stuns too. It prevented a ridiculous amount of damage in this scenario, and sometimes I wouldn't mind getting hit because I do have that retaliate, and I'm ending this scenario with 10 health. I have both my shields up, and I didn't even use my star earring. But there he goes. The Earth Demon is down, and Crypt of the Damned is done. And alright, that is everything for Crypt of the Damned. So next is going to be either scenario 8 or 9 with the Scoundrel. And then I already have a scenario picked out for the Tinkerer, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Feel free to subscribe if you liked this and want to come back for the next episode. Have a good one.